Really appreciate being asked to be here today. I know some of you maybe actually have seen me speak here before. Some of you maybe experienced I do mostly school assemblies. I talk to middle school, elementary school, high schools about diversity and prejudice and bullying, but I do it all through comedy, so it's a little bit different than what most people expect. And I talk a lot about the concept of Ohana, which is why I'm so glad that they were able to choose the clips they did with Lilo and Stitch today. As you're already catching on, that Ohana in Hawaii is the essence of family and the idea of making sure that nobody gets left behind or forgotten. They don't believe just in siblings and parents, but it's the idea of all of us kind of being part of one. They believe in Hawaii, something I think is profound and a great analogy to our relationship with God is that when you're born, you have a light inside of you called mana, M-A-N-A, which is a bowl of light. And they believe that when we're born, that light naturally shines, and that as we grow older, every time something negative happens to us, it's like taking a tiny pebble and dropping it in a bowl of light. So if you put one pebble in a bowl of light, the light still shines, but if over time more pebbles start to collect, more negative things start to happen, we start suffocating that light. More pebbles start filling up. The light's still there. It's never gone away. It can't get through all the negative things that have happened over time. So they believe the essence of why we're here are to take those pebbles, to learn the lesson from it, to remove it, and to grow stronger. I had a dog, two dogs, Dreyfus and Corky. They both passed on, but obviously when they were with me, Dreyfus, first of all, was a three-legged dog, and that's what Dreyfus means. In German, drei is three, and Fuß is foot, so 3 feet. And when he was born, he had 4 legs, and then we renamed him Dreyfus when we had to remove one of the legs. It's not like I had a 4-legged dog, named him 3 feet, and voluntarily ripped off a leg because then he'd be wishbone. And the great thing about Dreyfus is Dreyfus didn't realize that he was different than other dogs. He really thought that he was normal and 4-legged dogs were not. One example is that he used to go up to Corky and gently nibble on Corky's back left leg. And I honestly believe he was trying to remove his leg. I honestly believe he felt bad for Corky, that Corky had to carry around an extra appendage that obviously didn't need because Dreyfus didn't need it, so what's the big deal? And the other great thing about his leg being gone is that little kids never noticed. I mean, because he was so close to the ground. Like my niece Anna, I used to say, how is Dreyfus different than other dogs? And she's like, well, he really likes cat food. I'm like, all right. What about his leg being gone? Isn't that different? She's like, no, because Dreyfus is a 3-legged dog. And 3-legged dogs are only supposed to have 3 legs, which is true. A 3-legged dog, does have 3 legs. If you ever meet a 3-legged dog that has 4 legs, run, get out of there. That's the freakiest thing in the world. And so the great thing about Dreyfus and Corky is that when I adopted Corky, when I first met him, he came up to me in the Humane Society and walked right between my legs. And I knew for an instant that's the dog. That dog chose me. And I told the lady, and she's like, well, this dog's really been hurt. He's really been abused. You may want to consider a different dog, which made me want him even more. And when I took him home, his tail was always tucked between his legs. Whoever had him before I did really abused this dog. And he was sad all the time. And a dog does not know how to pretend. You can't take a dog that's sad and train it to pretend to be happy. A dog acts the way that it feels. And so as he started interacting with Dreyfus, as they started living together, his tail started to wag. Anytime Dreyfus is around, Corky's tail would wag. Or if you said his name, Corky, where's Dreyfus? His tail would wag. Or for those of you that have dogs, you ever seen your dog sleep when they're dreaming and their paws start moving like they're going through some enchanted milk-bone forest? And so when Dreyfus used to sleep, when Corky used to sleep, I used to whisper in Corky's ears, Corky, where's Dreyfus? And his tail used to wag in his sleep, in his dreams. And I thought that's a miracle. Dreyfus loved Corky so much, Corky was able to restore some of the pebbles in his bowl of light. And that's the essence. There are people out here in our lives, in our world, maybe even people we're not even really friends with, but we see them every day. We have interactions with them. Maybe there's someone we see at Starbucks or driving in the same intersection. People that we encounter every single day that aren't part of our family. At least we don't consider them, but I believe the whole world is a family. We're all part of this Ohana, and every time we do something to improve the essence of us, every time we take something negative and learn what the pebbles are and remove them to grow stronger, that is when we help other people become stronger as well. I think that's why we're here, is to realize what are the negative things that have happened to us over time. The Hawaiian lei, they believe that represents your life circle. You start out one place in your life, and you spend your entire adulthood trying to get back to the same attitude you had as a child. And that's what we're here to do, is to allow ourselves to resolve some of the negative things that have happened, the pebbles. I think we do choose to love. I think by the way we interact and treat each other, we allow, through our empathy and our compassion, we allow ourselves to be at service with others. And I think that's the essence also, is what it is to connect with each other. When we allow them to realize that it's easy to connect with people with whom we're close with, our family, people that we share the same stories with. But anytime we allow ourselves the opportunity to experience someone else's story through empathy and through compassion, and allow ourselves to be service by allowing ourselves to take those negative pebbles out of our bowl of light, that's when connection happens. It's reaching out to stories of others. It's allowing ourselves to experience the story of others and allowing ourselves to service each other in a positive way. I think you'll enjoy and appreciate this video.
Kid, every time I'm pulling out, he's right there. Man, and someone needs to talk to his parents if they're ever at home. What is up with the traffic today? It's always, every day, this intersection's always crowded. I hate pulling out of here. Maybe some of these dumb roads. Oh, there's... Okay, so I'm not even here. Right. Great lady. The princess of parking. Oh, sure. Take the spot. Way to be considerate. Oh, are you kidding me? Unbelievable. Oh.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
It's about time. Let's see, what do I want?
Yeah, could I add a cookie to that order?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no problem, only guy in the world. I'm sure you need your cookie. The world, your oyster, and he's serving your cookie.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much.
What can I get for you?
Yeah, I'll have a tall decaf macchiato.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Be $3.85. And it might take a few minutes here. We've got quite a line, obviously, and thanks for your patience.
Great. Yeah, great. Great for me. Winning again. Unbelievable. What? What is... What is that? What in the world? Oh, what? What am I supposed to do? How can I do anything about that? Can I even help with that? I don't.
Your coffee, sir.
Oh. I can't take this anymore. I gotta get out of here.
Hey, watch it.
Sorry, so sorry.
Hey, buddy, come here.
Every interaction with others is an opportunity to become part of their story in a really positive way. It's an opportunity to choose to love. I have a poem that I wrote in 1992. It came to me in a dream. I never did anything with it until we adopted my son Scout, who is now 12 years old. And I think it's the essence, again, why we choose the garden, why we choose to live the lives we do. It goes like this. It's amazing in this world today, filled with love and hate, what separates the common one from the one who's truly great. For it's not the money in your bank account or the stuff in your backyard. It's instead of what you share from inside of your loving, caring heart. You do not choose your color of skin. You don't choose to be born rich or poor. You don't choose to be deaf or blind, wishing you had something more. You don't choose with whom you fall in love. You don't choose to be born woman or man. You don't choose your family at birth. It's all part of a much larger plan. And although for some it's hard to relate to the differences that others endure, keep in mind there are certain choices that make you shallow or pure. You do choose to love or hate. You do choose to follow or lead. You do choose to embrace or ignore others in their time of need. Some things in life you cannot change, but your attitude can change. That's true. And by doing so, you can affect the people who look up to you. The meaning of life, that's the greatest mystery of all. But the answer is easily found. It's unconditional love for all humankind who walk on our common ground. I used to work at a camp in Texas. It was the Texas Lions Camp for handicapped children. I happen to know sign language. Some of you may know sign. This is not a deaf camp. This is a camp for kids that have physical handicaps. Some of the kids happen to be deaf. First day at camp, there was a kid in my cabin named Benny. He's got bright orange hair. He has freckles. He has one arm. If you know anything about sign language, you kind of need two arms, but he doesn't because he doesn't have a choice. So to him, that's normal. And it's the first day at camp. You can have anything you want for breakfast. He chooses one of those little tiny boxes of Rice Krispies, the little ones that are so small, it's ridiculous. It's just like Snap and Crackle because there's no room for Pop. And so he's trying to open up the box, and he can't do it because he only has one arm. And again, that's his obstacle. And I can't help him because that's the rule of the camp. The rule of the camp is, at this camp, you cannot help a kid unless they specifically ask for help. At this camp, they have to be allowed to try. And if they fail, at least they accomplished failure on their own. And so I'm watching this kid, and he can't get the box open, and I don't know what to do. And I'm sitting there. He doesn't know that I'm watching. He gets up from the table. He goes over to the bagel bar where they have bagels and cream cheese and little plastic knives. He takes a knife, comes back to the table, and starts stabbing the box to get it open. Now, you know that knife I'm talking about, that plastic knife that is so cheap it can't even puncture cardboard because the knife is made out of, Kleenex and Twinkies and oxygen spam. And then he takes like 6 knives, and now he goes to town. He starts obliterating the Rice Krispie box. And I'm sitting there. I feel bad for Snap and Crackle because the kid is becoming a serial killer. No. He takes a box. He bites a hole in the box, takes a knife, sticks it in the bowl, sticks it in the box. He goes sliding across the table to get it open. He has to hold the box down with his chin and saw backwards. I can't stop watching. The kid next to him can't stop watching. His name's Adam. Adam's partially paralyzed in a wheelchair. He has limited use of his hands. Adam and Benny don't even know each other yet. We just got to camp, so they haven't even met. But Adam cannot stop watching Benny go through this whole shenanigans. Adam has not even figured out how he's going to open his breakfast. He can't stop watching Benny. Benny finally gets the box open. He is so happy, you can tell. He's like shaking with joy. He has a smile so big you could stick a banana sideways in his mouth. His, sweats on his forehead. He takes the bowl of rice. He takes the Rice Krispies, pours it into the bowl. He takes the milk, pours it into the cereal, and then out of nowhere, one of the most amazing acts of choosing to love, he takes the entire bowl of Rice Krispies, picks it up, and slides it in front of Adam that was next to him, total stranger. And he sets it down, takes a spoon, and starts feeding him every single bite of the Rice Krispies. He gave the entire thing away. He didn't share it. He gave it away. And then he took a napkin, and he wiped his mouth, and then he gave him a hug. And then he reached for a new box and started opening that one for himself. And I sat there, and I was frozen. And I thought the most amazing thing of what I just experienced is that Benny never made eye contact with me. He wasn't doing it because I was watching. He didn't want to be recognized. He didn't want to be the kid of the day. He didn't want the trophy. He didn't want the T-shirt or the sticker. He did it because he naturally had an obstacle in his life that he was able to look at as an act of love, to embrace and accept and choose to love someone else. And that's the essence of who we are. I know sometimes, we choose our spouse. Sometimes we choose our children. A lot of times there are things thrust upon us that aren't chosen. It's easy to relate to those that we identify with. But anytime we reach out and embrace those that are being left behind or forgotten, or those that we just have everyday interactions with, because of our kindness, their story grows greater and greater. By removing our own pebbles from our own bowl of light, we allow the opportunity of others to be able to do the same thing. It is something that we do.